How do you control yourself when you are full of rage and want to keep calm? When I lived in Chicago, I was suffering really bad anxiety attacks, and my therapist taught me to do this as a way to ground myself during those moments. Focus on a sense. Breathing, something you can see, hear, or touch. Focus on that thing and really try and get deep into it. For me, when I had an attack on the street, I would touch the nearest building and feel one of the bricks, and then block out all other senses and try to feel each little bump and dip in the brick. You might not be able to see the stars, but focusing in on anything, nature or not, can always help calm you. Edit. People actually seem to be reading this, so, if you are experiencing regular fits of rage or anxiety, please seek professional help, not a Reddit thread. Suggestions here can be helpful but not perfect. Especially if you are a student, talk to your school staff. My school had hour-long sessions at $10 each for students during the semester. I went regularly, but I had friends who would pop in during a bad week for time to vent or calm down. Professional help is closer and easier than you think, and isn't as big a deal as you think. I had some panic attacks, so I talked to someone who knew more than me. Take care of yourselves, please, smiley face. We have the family temper. My grandpa used to lose his shit and go into fits of rage. Dad did the same thing. Throwing shit, cursing, breaking stuff. I fucking hated it. Everybody had to tiptoe around their tempers, and it's ruined a few family events. When I catch myself starting to see red and go into one of those fits, I just concentrate on how bad my grandpa's and my dad's episodes made everyone feel, and that helps calm me down. Also, whatever it is that triggers it, walk away from it. You won't be able to properly address whatever it is if you try to do it while raging. I know the feeling. My grandma lived with us and she was a very, very angry person. I was mostly angry throughout my young life until teenage years. It was pretty hard to control my temper. Then I dated a guy who goes into fits of rage. He would get into bad road rages, just like I did. But the main difference was, I finally saw how awful it was to look like a deranged rabid bear, bearing down with anger on some pitiful soul. What's worse are the times when said pitiful soul isn't pitiful, but is also a road rager who is ready to do some counterattacks. There's no actual fight that ensued because we were medical students, and being jailed isn't something that would look good in the resume. We usually had way more to lose than the recipient of the anger. There's also the fear of everyone around him, who cares for him. Doesn't really matter who started the entire thing, everyone looks like a fool. And the bystanders suffer and get anxious. There really wasn't any space for two ragers in the relationship, so I mellowed down. I became very anxious and self-conscious, and I lost my self-confidence throughout his rages, whether directed at me or others. Ultimately broke up with him after 3 years, but learned about a valuable lesson on maturity and self-control. It's not just you in the situation, like it or not. Every action has a consequence, and it would affect the recipient of the rager and the loved ones who are with the rager. I became quite good at diffusing situations. Every time I find myself with an angry person, or if I am angry myself, I never ask if the recipient of the rage deserves it. Instead, I ask the following. What is causing the anger? What is the main problem, and can it be resolved? Usually the cause of anger is different from the actual problem, i.e. actual problem, inefficient service in an expensive restaurant, cause of anger, feeling cheated and deceived, ego feels like a fool. Is an ego hurt? What can I do to soothe the ego of this person? Can we find a common ground? Once calm, is the person listening to our side of the story? Can we find a solution together? If I am the one angry, can I have a moment to take deep breaths and think logically to resolve the situation? Is the person in front of me really the one who can resolve the situation, or was the situation brought in through no fault of his/her own? Can a compromise be achieved? What would ultimately settle the nerves of both parties? What do both parties actually need under the layer of anger? The most I have done for the past 10 years was write snarky messages, but never to the point of unprofessionalism. It's been a great eye-opener. I watched my dad get taken advantage of, fucked over, robbed, swindled, and used. Now, when someone tries to do the same to me or my wife or daughter, in the course of about 5 seconds I go from I'm about to lose my shit, I just lost my shit, I don't take no shit, and then I explode. It rarely improves the situation. Most of my anger stems from watching people fuck other people over, and it makes me see red. Watching other drivers be assholes, watching someone put something back in the wrong spot at the grocery store, hearing a manager say something that is an outright lie to get their way. Small things, big things, they're all the same. My kids think I get taken advantage of sometimes. I grew up in a very angry, yelling household. My spouse taught me early on there's a better way. He taught me that there are so many words in the English language that you never have to lash out in anger. Take a moment, get your words together, and deal with it. Use that burning in your belly to compile your words. My kids don't think I'm dealing with things sometimes because I'm not yelling. I really like that mentality, smiley face.